Hello, and welcome to another episode of PADNET Presents, a show featuring the creative individuals that come through the doors of our Community Media Center here in Long Beach, California. My name is Karina, this is Samantha and Dunn, and we're interns here at PADNET.
For this episode, we brought in a special Long Beach native, Tiana Collins, an executive director at the Art Spot. It's a fun and inclusive learning experience art workshop here in Long Beach. Her dedication for teaching and creativity in the Long Beach community is very inspiring. We want to take a deeper dive into how her art showcases her impact in the Long Beach area, so invited her to PADNET to share with us.
We had the opportunity to produce this episode, which was filmed with the help of a crew made up of PADNET intern staff and members. We hope you enjoy this very special episode of PADNET Presents.
Hi, welcome to another episode of PADNET Presents. I'm the host, Sunshine McLean. And every episode of PADNET Presents, we try to have a fascinating subject that we focus in on, especially here in Long Beach. Today, we have the executive director from the Art Spot, Tiana Collins.
Hello.
Hi, welcome. So, what could you tell us about the Art Spot? What is it? What you do? I'm clueless.
The Art Spot, that location's been open for a long time, but just in past September, we changed the name, we changed the programming, so we're a community art space for the community. So we do everything from workshops, after school classes, private events. We work with nonprofits and like local public schools and things like that, just making art accessible for people.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
What a great resource. Okay. So is it mostly kids art classes or is it?
Well, we have all the way from like 4 months old is like our youngest that we have, because we have a program called Studio Babies, all the way up to senior citizens, because we partner with the Senior Arts Expo Center across the street. So we're all over the place. Yeah, for everybody.
That's amazing. Wow, okay. Yeah. So are you from Long Beach? Are you a Long Beach
I was
native?
born and raised in Long Beach, went to school my whole life here, and have lived in this city my entire life.
That's
I love
amazing.
Long Beach.
A Long Beach native.
Yes.
Here we have one. So where do you work in Long Beach?
So we're located in Bixby Knolls, so not far from here.
Okay, cool. So, what drew you into being an executive director at the Art Spot? How did you get into that? You didn't create the Art Spot, right? You said it's been there a long time.
The studio was in that location, but me and my business partner, her name is Robin, we actually came up with the Art Spot together. So we loved what was already happening in that space, but we just felt like it could be more. And so together, last summer, we really sat down and we kind of just said, okay, what can we do to make this place again more accessible and for people to really know what it is? And of course, you hear the Art Spot and you know it's where you're gonna go to do art. Like you go to the boba shop, the pizza place. We're going to the Art Spot. So we really spent last summer really hunkering down and planning it out. And then in September, we relaunched with whole new programming and a bunch of new stuff.
September of this year.
Yes.
Oh, okay, cool.
No, September 2023.
Oh, okay. So it's kind of a newisher thing?
Yes.
Do you see yourself being at the Art Spot forever, or are there any other plans in your future?
Well, the dream is that I am there forever. Yes, like that's why, I was a full-time teacher up until January, so I was also doing both. I essentially had 2 full-time jobs. But luckily we grew so much from September to January that I was able to quit teaching full-time and move into this. So, now I'm like, diverting all of my energy and attention into this so that it can grow and continue to grow, so it can be my career forever.
Oh, awesome. So were you an art teacher?
I was actually teaching early childhood. I was teaching preschool in Long Beach. Yes.
Oh, okay.
But I've taught from preschool all the way to middle school.
And when you were in preschool, were you offering any art classes? Were you
yes.
doing art projects with the
kids?
kids?
Yes, I love early childhood. It's my favorite, which is why we have like the toddlers and babies program, so I can still be around that age group. So all of my stuff was very play-based, art-based. My kids were learning about, Yayoi Kusama, George O'Keeffe, all those, artists.
Wow,
and things. Yeah.
that's small. Learning about George
Yes.
O'Keeffe, that's amazing. Do you ever miss that job, or you're just completely
I do, but I still get to see them often because they all come into the Art Spot. Most of them come into the Art Spot to hang out and do art with me.
Oh, cool. Yeah, so it really is a community.
It really is, yes.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay, I think this is something that a lot of artists struggle with. I know I struggle with it. What are the benefits and hardships of running a business like Art Spot? Because I feel artists business is something they always kind of lack or they struggle with.
Yes.
I know I struggle with it. So yeah, what are the benefits and hardships of running a business like ArtSpot?
I will start with the hardships because I feel like it's more fun to talk about the benefits. Is the discipline. Like I have to have a checklist and I have to follow the checklist because it's really easy for me to just say, I'm here for a good time. Let's just have fun. But there are important things that need to get done. So it's that aspect is I think challenging. And another artist, you'll know, when people think stuff is free.
Oh, yeah.
Because, unfortunately, we're not a nonprofit. So, we do rely on people coming in and paying for the services to stay open. And it's also hard to say it isn't free sometimes, I think for me.
It is.
Yeah.
Do you ever have issues with the parents like, oh, well, I shouldn't have to pay for an art class, or
I will say, luckily, once people do find out, it is like we've never had a problem because, again, I think the community where we are is just absolutely lovely. That I've never had someone come in the almost year that I've been doing this and be like challenging to deal with.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's awesome. Yeah, I would imagine like if they're there for the art. I used to be a clown, and sometimes, yeah, it was fun, and I loved it, and it was great. But sometimes that was an issue with people just thinking the clown should be for free. And I'm like, well, the balloons cost a lot of money.
Yes.
I'm working. I have to get paid, And so yeah, and I find that with all different kinds of art, creative stuff, like you're just supposed to do it for free, But
Yes.
yeah,
People take the arts for granted for sure.
definitely. But I'm glad your ArtSpot is, able to sustain itself. Okay, so what is your definition of success for ArtSpot?
So I feel like there's a lot of definitions that it can have, but like really for me is that it can sustain itself and me. But because there's a difference between sustaining just itself, but then also like an individual person surviving in this world, paying rent, bills, all those things. So that, but also if people are coming in and they're leaving satisfied and they're leaving happy, I think like that for me is the biggest thing because you'd be surprised how many people come in, oh, I'm not an artist, I don't do art, my art is terrible. Like for example, our private events I mentioned, we often get engineering groups come in because I think they're looking for something different than what they do in their day-to-day. And so they're all like, no, I'm not an artist, I can't do it, never. But then they're like, oh my gosh, like I painted this whole painting. Because we do guided paintings typically is what they ask for. And they're extremely shocked and surprised and happy and they're like, wow, I want to do more of this, it's so fun. So finding that love
great.
for art.
You can give
when
them
they
that
leave.
confidence.
Yeah, exactly, that's what I like.
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, I definitely do see people like, they cut themselves short before it even starts.
Yeah, because I really, truly, everyone's an artist in some way.
In some way, shape, or form. So can you tell me a little bit more about the classes? What kind of classes do you offer?
So the classes we offer, again, we offer, like weekends is typically workshops, but we'll have reoccurring workshops. So like once a month we do toddlers, once a month we do studio babies, once a month we do resin, things like that. But our weekly classes are, one class is called Mini Masters, and it's for ages 4 to 8, and then they focus on like an art style or an art medium, and then they learn each week about a different master in that medium. Like for example, March Women's History Month, we focused on women artists. So each week they learned a different famous woman artist.
Oh, can you
Things
tell
like
us what were the women artists?
So we did, my favorites, we did Frida Kahlo, Georgia O'Keeffe, Yayoi Kusama. I'm blanking on some of them though, but there's so many programming that we do that sometimes when people ask me, I think that's a challenge. There's so much that we do that sometimes when people ask me, I blank out and I'm like, I make the schedule, how do I not remember? Yeah.
Well, one thing I wanted to know, just for my own satisfaction, do you guys have like sewing machines, sewing classes, or pottery classes, or potter's wheel?
We're actually talking to a woman right now who is in the process of completing whatever she needs to do to get her nonprofit going to start sewing. So it's in the works if you're interested. But we do have pottery. She's become a very good friend of mine, and she has her own business called the Pottery Bar. And she's a ceramics artist, and she does pottery with us once a month. So we do hand building ceramics, and then in fall, you guys are getting a little sneak peek of the fall schedule here now. We're going to be having hand building ceramics classes once a month for both kids and adults. So yes, we do ceramics.
Awesome. So you would basically you would take the class with your kid, and you guys would both do
No, separately.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry, no, separately. I know we like to give the adults their time.
Yeah, that's good. So with the baby studio and stuff, the parent would have to be there.
For those, yes, because that's a whole different laws and things like that.
What kind of projects do you do with babies?
I love that question. So for that, we move all of the tables and we have the foam mats and we put them on the floor. So it's floor based. So the kids can just be on the floor because, at that age, they're kind of still barely sitting up or maybe they're doing tummy time, things like that. And it's more just exploration of materials. Because you'd be surprised how many kids that I would get in my classes who they've never really had their hands dirty with paint, or they've never really experienced even like Play-Doh or clay or something. So it's getting them comfortable with the materials so that they're not hesitant as they get older. So it'll be like finger painting, because we use like non-toxic, child-safe, mouth-safe materials. And it would just be them having fun, getting in it, getting dirty with it, and having it just
That's
blast.
amazing.
Rolling balls.
I have an 11-month-old baby, and so I don't know. I'm interested in that class. I feel like parents are kind of very obsessed with like, oh, that's dirty, don't touch that. Oh, but it's like, well, there's a time and a place,
And we're the place.
Yeah, exactly.
That's their favorite. They're like, oh, now I just get to take them home and the house stays clean.
Yeah. Okay. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. And I was also thinking like, I feel like my kid's smart. He's learning to clap. But I don't think he can paint yet. So, but yeah, just exploring the material. That's amazing. Yeah. Okay. Do you see the art community changing around you? If so, how? If not, would you change it for the better? How would you change it for the better?
I think I'm seeing a lot of it like, I think people have always, tried to pursue their art ambition as a career, but I'm seeing a lot more, I think, with social media, because before I wasn't really on social media, like monetizing your skills, I think. Like, for example, I've been following this one woman, she's also like local in Long Beach, and she makes cutting boards, but like really nice, like really beautiful designs and like fun, like alien heads and like hot dogs, like really cool ones. And it's like taking their art skills like that and creating a business out of it, I feel like is what I'm seeing a lot more. And a lot of businesses, with like boutiques especially, within their business are starting to add art elements. Like there's a business on our street, they're doing like trucker hat decorating and things like that. I think I'm seeing a lot more of that because there's a need and a craving for art, I think, and it's starting to make its way out into the community.
Yeah. You have to do social media for your art.
Oh yeah, no, I've learned. No, I've learned. I have been. Yes, we actually just breached 2,000 followers, so that's exciting.
Great.
That was a big milestone.
Like everybody that's like a personal trainer, they always have an IG.
Yes.
Everybody is using social media. You have
Everybody.
to. There's no choice, Maybe you could get away with not Facebook, because everybody's like, oh, Facebook is just for family and friends now. But definitely IG, definitely. Are there any events at Art Spot for the Long Beach community to feel connected or embrace art? I would say that's the Art Spot.
Exactly, yes. I mean, even like, for example, though, I think like we're also now growing towards, I think you asked me a question earlier about like where I see us going, is I see us doing more like community-based events where coming to the event is, free of, like there's no cost, and then there's added elements. Like, so this Saturday we're doing, we're calling it Arte y Más, like this group called XP
Arte y Más?
Yes. Okay. XP Spanish and More, they reached out to me and they do bilingual immersive experiences in Long Beach. And so that's what we're doing. We're creating this immersive bilingual experience at our studio. We're going to have like artist pop-ups, food vendors, music, art projects, things like that. So like for people to just come and enjoy the space.
So how do I say it? You know how like they have the Latin American art?
Yes.
It's called Mocha, right?
Mola,
yeah. Are they involved? They should be involved somehow, or like somehow you should do it.
I have not yet been reaching out to the like local museums yet. That's definitely on my list though, because I feel like it'd be great to get them involved in our space. Yeah.
Okay, is there any other like anything specific about these art classes you could tell me? I mean, it sounds so interesting. Okay, you're talking about female artists and like the kids studio classes, and I don't know. I guess we should take a class now, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's more just about coming in and like you can, like for example, we do a stamp making class, right? Like you carve your own stamps. So we provide all the materials, all the instructions, everything, and we just like really break it down so that the larger scale, it's not so intimidating to do, because you say, oh, like how can I make a stamp? But we break it all down. We have the tools, we have guidelines, and we also just provide the space to explore in a safe space where it's like it's okay to like make mistakes or not know how to do it right away. Like you're here to learn.
Yeah. By any chance, do you have screen printing classes, or is that ever in the works?
We're actually we're getting a screen print, I don't know, actually know what they're called because that's new to me. but we're getting one of those donated to us because our printer, again, we're all about community in Long Beach. They're a printing company in Long Beach, and his daughter takes classes with us and is going to help us start getting that going in the next couple months.
Oh, that's great. Is there anything else you want to tell us about the art spot?
Check out our website. You have bring your kid in, come experience it, because it's really more like an experience. So like whenever people call me and ask me about it, we get lots of phone calls questioning the space. I always say, these are the hours that we're open. Come on in and check the space out and see what you think, because you really have to kind of see it to really understand, really feel it, I think.
Can you show us your artwork? I'm excited. What is it? What's your favorite medium?
Unfortunately, most of my art I make as gifts for people and I give it away, or they're samples that I have for the studio. But what I've been really into lately is the epoxy resin. And so I made this, I think I made this almost 2 years ago now, and it was supposed to look like the port of a ship. When you look out, it's like a shipwreck.
It definitely looks like it came off a boat.
Yes, that was the vibe, because I made it as a gift for somebody who loves the ocean. And we get tons of materials donated to us, and so people donate shells that they just find and bring to the studio, and I was able to make this.
Okay, awesome. So what happened? The friend didn't take it, or you just haven't?
Well, it's I made it for my girlfriend, and we live together, so I had it at the house.
Oh, okay. That's great.
I was thinking, where do I have it? I don't have anything. All my artwork's at somebody's house somewhere.
Okay, yeah. Maybe if you could send us pictures, maybe, or something like that.
I do have lots of pictures. I do make sure to take photos before I give it away so I can remember it.
Good. Yeah, we'll definitely, hopefully put that up. Yeah, okay. Do you have a favorite medium that you like?
So I think my favorite traditional medium would definitely be watercolor and ink. I also like to make a lot of birthday cards for people, greeting cards. I like to hand make their cards for them. But
I do a lot of that
I would say epoxy definitely, because it's so versatile. You can do so much with it. It can be realistic, but it could also be whimsical and put glitter in it, or foam stickers.
Can you tell me how that works a little bit? It comes out as a liquid and then it hardens?
Yes, so there's 2 parts, and then you mix the 2 parts together. There's lots of different kind of epoxies. I'm giving the short version. And you mix them together, and then it cures and it hardens, and it's basically good forever.
Do they use that for food too?
They do make food safe.
Okay.
Yes. So tabletops, that's, you have to wear a full mask when you do tabletops, because it's a different kind of epoxy, but they do make food safe.
I was thinking sometimes when they have fake food in the restaurants, just to show you what it looks like, it looks a little bit like that. I wonder if they're using that.
That's a good question. I'm looking at that. Yeah.
I've seen that before. Okay. So you said your preference is ink and watercolor?
Yes.
Okay,
so I'll do the fine lines, the details with black ink usually, and then I'll fill in the color with watercolor paint.
Okay, yeah. Why do you prefer watercolor?
I think because it forces me to not be a perfectionist. Because it can be really perfect, but I like that it can be very, you kind of don't know what it's going to do sometimes.
No, I can see. Watercolor, you have to give up. I have a lack of control a little bit. Yeah,
and I like
exactly.
that, because it forces me to kind of just be it's going to be what it's going to be.
What about acrylic or oil? Do you have any of those, or do?
I do like acrylic painting. Oil, not so much, because it can be a little messy to me personally. Yeah. But I do like acrylic painting.
Okay. Okay, I guess we should get to my artwork.
Yeah, I was actually really curious to see what you brought.
Okay, so I went to college at University of Washington in Seattle. So technically, I got a BA in visual art. So functionally, it's more like a BS degree, right? Okay. So when I had my kid, I was thinking about, I was thinking about the placenta a lot, and I was just what do I do? What do I do? It's a weird, fascinating organ. It's the only organ that's a temporary organ, right? And I was okay, how do I save this? How do I preserve this? And it's no one's gonna preserve their placenta, right? Yeah. But I started looking at placenta prints and placenta paintings, and so that was exactly what I did. I was okay, I'm saving the placenta. I'm saving the placenta. And honestly, I got kind of a little bit obsessed with it, because some hospitals won't let you take your placenta.
I was going to say, let you take it home.
Yeah, it's a fight, actually. It's actually kind of a fight. I gave birth at Hollywood Presbyterian, and so at first they're no, you can't take it, because you have to have a third party, because they thought I was going to make the placenta pills. Some people want to consume. Some people want to consume the placenta. I was no, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. I'm just going to make placenta prints, And they're like, okay. So they let me take my placenta home.
Awesome.
And so I have one ink one,
Oh, wow.
you know, and yeah, I wish the cord was a little bit longer, but you know, the baby's dad cut the cord, so maybe I told him, save the placenta, I don't care, just save it. And so I guess he wasn't thinking about that, he cut it a little bit short, but yeah, so I have one ink one, and
They kind of look like flowers a little bit.
yeah.
Yeah, they're really cool.
You know, most people actually, they kind of paint these tree of life things because I guess it looks a little bit like a tree or a flower, you know, and it's like the placenta like sustained the kid's life for 9 months. So it is kind of like a tree of life. This was their whole lifeline for like 9 months, you know. So a lot of people, like, they paint it like a tree, you know, green acrylic and then brown acrylic paint.
So did you paint directly on the placenta, then stamped it?
Yeah,
and then washed the ink?
that's a good
Washed it?
question. Yeah, I painted the placenta, and yeah, and then I put it on a paper. Well, no, okay, I painted the placenta and then I put the paper on it like this and mushed it down.
And then you washed it to get new colors, like to do different colors?
Actually, I don't know if I was just lazy. No, I didn't really wash it. I didn't. Well, see, the thing, you'll see the other ones, they started getting more faint. Like I have like 3 or 4 more of these Tree of Life ones, and they started getting more faint as time went on. So then when they got really faint, I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna paint. This is the last one I did. I did paint a blue one because he's a boy. By the time I got to this one, that had all rubbed off. So yeah. So I did paint a blue one because he's a boy. So. And I really just like this metallic one. I probably should have started off with this. I first started off with this is just the blood one, honestly. And so I did a few, this is just the blood. There was no paint whatsoever. They say if you're gonna do this though, like don't hang it in direct sunlight because eventually the blood will fade and it'll just be nothing. But eventually it's gonna fade anyways, so that's why I made sure to do painting ones and some ink ones, a few ink ones, and then, oh yeah, and then there was one other thing. Harmony was just interested in it. She saw I had this fan and she's like, did you make that? And I was like, yeah, I totally did.
Oh,
when I lived in Japan, it's a Japanese American horror fan, pun intended. So yeah, there's a Japanese side.
That's
and
really cool.
a lot of it is Japanese, like folklore horror kind of, and then the American side, you know. So yeah, it's a Japanese-American horror fan. But Harmony took your class, right?
She did, yes.
Yes.
And we were doing self-love, self-portraits, and she did this one right here. I thought it was really cool.
Okay, that's great. Yeah. That was she said her healthy transition, right? Yeah, before and after.
And she put the quote, know that your uniqueness is your superpower, and then in the moment.
In the moment,
And then purple's her favorite color, she said.
Oh, that's why she chose the flower.
Yeah,
okay,
I love it.
Yeah, no, so
And
one of your assignments is called self-love portrait.
Self-portraits, yes, and like, but portraiture, I don't have to tell you, is very challenging, can be very frustrating. So what we do is we do, like, we have printed photos, and you print the photo, and you could make like collaging. So we do collaging for that. And this one was for, we did it, I think, in April. What's going on in April? There's some month going on there. We did it for a reason. Yeah, so we did collages again. It was really fun.
Okay, yeah. So when you do this self-love portrait, it's supposed to be.
I don't think we celebrate ourselves enough. I mean, especially like, I think women too. I think we celebrate ourselves in the sense of what we do for other people and not necessarily what we're doing for ourselves. And so like the point of this was for anybody, but just to come in and be like, yeah, no, like I'm awesome.
Yeah. Okay, I get it. Yeah. That's cool. Yeah. I think you should probably do like a little kid version too, right?
We actually did it in our kids class, and they got to pick pictures that they felt like they liked this mountain because of whatever reason or something. Because we have a lot of like 1980s National Geographic magazines where they find like lots of really cool photos out of, and it was really fun to see what they chose represented themselves. Like one kid had just like a hat of mountains.
A hat of mountains.
Yeah, he made himself a hat out of mountains.
I remember one time I was in a Sunday school class and we had to make these Mother's Day cards, and they had all these magazines and we had to cut out a picture of like a mom, a woman that could be the mom. And I was like 5 or 6. I was so frustrated. I was so angry. I said, none of these pictures look like my mom. And the Sunday school teacher was like, Sunshine, it's not that big of a deal. I'm like, no, it's a big deal, you know. But
that's also kind of an interesting assignment to do. Find a picture that looks like your mom.
Well, that wasn't the assignment. I was just tripping out in my head for no reason, you know, because basically, no, we were just supposed to cut out a picture of a woman, I guess, and that's supposed to represent some generic mom, I guess. I don't know. But I got in my head, I got obsessed with, it's gotta look like my mom, you know? Yeah. But I think artists do kind of, I don't know, they get in these mental entrapments somewhat, and you know, you have your ego on the line when you're doing a portrait, when you're doing, so I definitely like this idea of self-love portrait because, we have our ego on the line thinking it's gotta be perfect, and it's not always gonna be that way, you know?
No.
So this is a great assignment, thank you.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, guys, that's almost all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for being here. I'm the host, Sunshine McWayne. This is PADNET Presents. And today we interviewed Tiana Collins, the Executive Director at the Art Spot.
And that concludes this episode of PADNET Presents. We'd like to express our thanks to Tiana Collins and our host, Sunshine McWayne, as well as our amazing crew that made this production possible.
If you're interested in participating in future episodes of PADNET Presents, we invite you to join us in the studio. Follow us on social media or join our weekly newsletter to receive announcements on upcoming production opportunities.
We definitely had a lot of fun creating and producing this show for you guys. Highlighting the love and need for the arts in our community was an enjoyable and knowledgeable experience. We learned a lot, and we hope you learned as well. Thank you for watching PADNET Presents, and remember,
make your media!